Hey Cowboys Nation, let's dive into everything that's been going on with America's team because honestly, there's always something happening. It seems like every day brings new updates, roster moves or contract chatter, and this week has been no exception. The biggest news by far has been the extension for Don Bland, the pick-six king of the NFL. The Cowboys locked him in for 4 years, $92 million with $50 million guaranteed. This is a deal that on the surface looks very fair for both sides, and reflects just how highly the team values his contributions on the outside. Bland has proven himself to be a cornerstone of the secondary, and this contract ensures that he'll be a key part of Dallas's defensive strategy for the foreseeable future. Now, what's interesting here is how this deal compares across the quarterback market. Bland slots right in between the top tier of corners and the rest of the league, just behind the very elite 5 highest-paid players at the position. He's not reaching the astronomical numbers that top quarterbacks command, which can climb over $30 million per year. But for a quarterback of his caliber, this is a strategic, well-balanced move. It provides security for Bland, while also keeping the Cowboys flexible under the salary cap. That balance is crucial because it allows the team to maintain depth and invest in other areas of the roster without overcommitting. When you break down the guaranteed money, $50 million may not sound jaw-dropping in the context of today's market, especially when you compare it to some of the deals for other top corners, but it's significant enough to show that the Cowboys are serious about keeping their defensive identity intact. This isn't a contract loaded with incentives that are uncertain or structured a role in weird ways. It's straightforward, clean, and avoids the drama that sometimes clouds negotiations in the NFL. The team managed to secure a top talent while avoiding the risk of a holdout, and that's a sign of smart front office management. Bland's extension also highlights a larger point about how the Cowboys are approaching their roster. This off-season, there's been a lot of speculation around other players like Tyron Smith and whether he will get a new deal soon. While there's no immediate pressure to finalize that, the groundwork laid with Bland sets a tone. It signals to the rest of the locker room and agents that Dallas is willing to pay for proven performers, but will do so in a way that makes sense within the team's broader strategy. That's a delicate balance to strike, and right now, it appears the Cowboys are handling it exceptionally well. Looking at the defensive roster as a whole, Bland's presence is more than just a contract. It's about continuity and leadership. On the field, he's been one of the most reliable cornerbacks in the league, consistently making big plays and changing the momentum of games with interceptions. Securing him for the long term gives the team a foundation to build around, and it sends a clear message. The Cowboys value playmakers who can impact games at the highest level. That mindset carries into draft strategy, free agency, and how the team structures contract for the future. It's a comprehensive approach that reflects thoughtful planning rather than reactionary moves. Another interesting angle here is how this deal interacts with other players coming off contracts or entering free agency. Sam Williams, for instance, is still a player to watch. While there's chatter about whether he could get an extension, his recent injury history makes it a more complex decision. The Cowboys need to assess not just performance, but also risk and potential upside. That's why securing someone like Bland first makes sense. He's proven healthy and immediately impactful. Once that piece is in place, the team can make more calculated decisions on other players without kindizing defensive performance. The comparison between Don Bland and other quarterbacks also puts the deal in perspective. The gap between the 5th highest-paid corner, Patrick Surtain, and the 6th, A.J. Terrell, is significant, and Bland's new salary positions him slightly closer to Surtain. This shows that Dallas is willing to invest in elite talent without overspending, and it maintains competitiveness with other teams looking to secure top corners. In other words, Bland's deal is both fair and strategically smart. It rewards excellence while leaving the Cowboys with room to maneuver. Beyond just the numbers, this contract reflects a broader philosophy. The Cowboys have avoided unnecessary drama, negotiation through the media or public standoffs. That's important because keeping relationships smooth with players and agents builds trust and sets a precedent for future dealings. For the locker room, it's reassuring to see a teammate like Bland valued and rewarded properly. It reinforces the culture of accountability and performance that the team has been cultivating, and it's exactly the kind of environment you want heading into a competitive season. Looking forward, there are still plenty of questions about what comes next. Tyler Smith, for example, is a player who could potentially see a significant contract soon, and many expect the Cowboys to prioritize his deal. While the urgency isn't quite the same as it was with Bland, getting Smith locked and would secure another piece of the offensive line and further stabilize the roster. Meanwhile, George Pickens and other contributors represent additional considerations for the front office, but the approach seems to be methodical rather than reactive. By taking one step at a time, the Cowboys can ensure each move aligns with both short-term performance and long-term planning. It's also worth noting that the guaranteed money structure in Bland's contract is telling. While $50 million is significant, it doesn't push him into the top 10 for guaranteed quarterback money. That's a win for the Cowboys, because it provides a safety net without overcommitting. Many deals in the NFL include complex incentive structures or rolling guarantees that may never fully materialize, but this one seems clean, straightforward, and focused on actual value. For a team trying to balance star talent with salary cap, flexibility, that's exactly the kind of deal you want. The Cowboys' handling of Bland's extension also shows their awareness of timing. By completing this deal before the season, they avoid entering the next offseason with multiple key players potentially hitting free agency simultaneously. That scenario can create pressure, tension, and complicated negotiations. Instead, the team has cleared one major piece off the table, allowing for more thoughtful planning regarding other contracts and potential signings. It's a smart, proactive approach that reflects strong organizational foresight on the field. The impact of this contract is immediate. Bland's presence in the secondary provides stability, experience, and playmaking ability. Opposing quarterbacks have to account for him on every snap, and his ability to change games with interceptions or tight coverage is invaluable. For younger players in the secondary, having someone like Bland around is a learning opportunity as well. Leadership, work ethic, and consistency are often just as important as raw talent, and Bland brings all of that to the table. His contract, in that sense, is more than just a financial commitment. It's a statement about what the Cowboys want their team culture to represent. Finally, the broader picture here is that the Cowboys are playing smart football both on and off the field. They've secured a foundational player in Bland, maintained salary cap flexibility, and avoided unnecessary distractions. There's still work to do with other potential contract extensions and roster moves. But this is the kind of proactive, calculated approach that can sustain a team's success over multiple seasons. By locking in key performers at fair and strategic values, the Cowboys are setting themselves up not just to compete this year, but to build a team capable of contending for years to come. Now that Don Bland's extension is officially done, the conversation shifts to the bigger picture of how the Cowboys are shaping their roster and what comes next in terms of contracts and strategy. One of the most intriguing aspects right now is Tyler Smith. Smith has been quietly developing into one of the top offensive linemen in the league, and the Cowboys know it. Securing him would not just protect the quarterback, but elevate the offensive line to an elite level. His potential contract could make him the highest-paid guard in football, which is a strategic investment considering the stability it would bring to both the passing and running game. Offensive line stability is often underrated, but it's the foundation for everything else, and getting that deal done early sets the tone for a smart, disciplined front office approach. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are still monitoring the situation with players like George Pickens and Sam Williams. Pickens represents depth and potential in the secondary, and while his extension hasn't been finalized, the fact that the team is considering it alongside Bland's deal shows careful roster planning. Sam Williams, on the other hand, is coming off an injury, which complicates matters. Extending him now could be risky without a clear understanding of how his body responds over the next few months. It's a situation that requires patience and precision. The front office must weigh performance potential against injury risk, and until more information is available, any commitment would be speculative. This measured approach reflects a team that's playing long-term chess rather than short-term checkers. At the same time, there's the cultural impact of these moves. Locking in top performers like Bland sends a message to the locker room that excellence is recognized and rewarded. It builds trust between players and management and reinforces a culture of performance accountability. Younger players see that consistent effort and production can translate into tangible rewards. That cultural reinforcement is just as important as the financial side of contracts because the chemistry in the locker room directly affects on-field performance. A cohesive, motivated roster is a team that can overcome challenges and elevate its play in crucial moments, and the Cowboys appear to understand that dynamic. Another angle to consider is the comparison across the league. While the quarterback market is heating up, the Cowboys managed to secure Bland at a number that is competitive but not extreme. This ensures that Dallas can remain aggressive in other areas without being hamstrung by a single contract. In other words, the team has bought a premium player while keeping enough cap space to make moves elsewhere, whether in free agency or in future extensions. That type of financial foresight is critical, especially as more players hit free agency and the salary cap landscape continues to fluctuate. The depth of the Cowboys' secondary is also worth noting. With Bland locked in, the team can focus on developing other corners and safeties without the looming pressure of losing a key veteran. This allows for strategic rotation, giving younger players opportunities to grow while keeping the team competitive in every game. The balance between veteran presence and emerging talent is delicate, but the Cowboys seem to be managing it effectively. It's a clear example of how front office decisions impact not only contracts, but player development and long-term team competitiveness. Looking forward, there are questions about how the Cowboys will handle other potential extensions and acquisitions. Tyler Smith is the next logical priority, but the approach to his deal will likely be informed by the lessons learned from Bland's extension. The Cowboys now have a template for negotiating large contracts without unnecessary drama or distractions. They can offer competitive deals that satisfy players while keeping the overall structure manageable. This kind of consistency in approach strengthens the organization's reputation among players and agents, which can pay dividends in future negotiations. On the offensive side, securing Smith would solidify the line for Dak Prescott or any quarterback. The Cowboys field. A strong offensive line isn't just about pass protection. It opens up the run game, allows for more creative play calling, and provides the foundation for sustained offensive success. It's a reminder that football is a team sport, built from the trenches outward. You can have elite skill position players, but without a stable, dominant offensive line, their potential is limited. That's why the Cowboys focus on both Bland and Smith reflects a holistic approach. They're not just paying stars, they're building a complete balanced roster. Meanwhile, defensive strategy continues to evolve. With Bland as a core piece, defensive coordinators can design schemes around his strengths. His ability to cover top receivers, jump routes, and create turnovers allows for more aggressive play calling elsewhere in the secondary and even on the front seven. It gives the team flexibility to disguise coverages, blitz selectively, and maintain pressure without sacrificing coverage integrity. That kind of versatility is invaluable, and locking in a player like Bland ensures that the Cowboys have a foundation for defensive creativity. Beyond contracts and schemes, there's also the narrative around player development and agent relationships. Managing these dynamics is a subtle but essential part of team building. The Cowboys appear to have navigated Bland's extension smoothly, which is encouraging for future negotiations. Maintaining good relationships with agents, understanding player expectations, and executing deals efficiently all contribute to a professional, stable environment. This reduces distractions, keeps focus on performance, and creates a culture where players feel respected and valued. Looking at the wider league context, the Cowboys' approach to contracts positions them to remain competitive in a fast-changing NFL. Many teams overextend themselves financially, chasing high-profile talent at the cost of long-term flexibility. Dallas, by contrast, seems focused on strategic investments that maximize performance while maintaining room to maneuver. This approach allows them to target emerging stars, protect key veterans, and adapt as market conditions shift. The ability to balance immediate competitiveness with long-term planning is a hallmark of successful franchises, and the Cowboys appear to be embracing that model. In a shocking turn of events that has left the NFL world buzzing and social media ablaze with speculation, Terry McLaurin, the electrifying wide receiver who had become synonymous with Washington Commander offensive firepower, has reportedly decided to leave the team that drafted him and where he rose to prominence. Sources close to the situation suggest that the decision was not merely about finances or contract disputes, but also involved deeper frustrations surrounding the team's strategic direction, coaching decisions, and the perceived underutilization of McLaurin's remarkable skill set. Over the past few seasons, McLaurin had proven himself as one of the most dynamic playmakers in the league, demonstrating incredible route-running precision, explosive acceleration, and a catching ability that consistently changed the momentum of games. Yet, despite his undeniable contributions, insiders claim he felt increasingly sidelined in team discussions and offensive schemes, which may have fueled his desire to explore new opportunities where his talents would not only be recognized, but maximized. Rumors have been circulating that multiple teams expressed interest in acquiring the star wide receiver, but it appears the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise with a storied history and a high-powered defensive system, managed to secure his attention and presumably his signature. The prospect of McLaurin lining up alongside elite quarterbacks and skilled position players has created an immediate frenzy among fans, analysts, and bettorers alike, igniting debates about how this move could reshape divisional rivalries and shift power balances within the NFC. The implications of McLaurin joining the Cowboys are being dissected from every conceivable angle, with analysts speculating about how his presence could alter the team's offensive identity, elevate their passing game, and inject an additional layer of unpredictability into an already formidable lineup. Observers have noted that pairing McLaurin with Dallas' existing receiving core could create matchup nightmares for opposing defenses, especially considering his ability to stretch the field vertically and consistently draw double coverage, freeing up teammates for easier opportunities. Some insiders suggest that the Cowboys' coaching staff has been meticulously planning ways to integrate McLaurin into both traditional and innovative schemes, envisioning combinations of deep threat routes, quick slants, and misdirection plays designed to maximize his agility and catching radius. Fans are already imagining highlight reel moments where McLaurin could dominate primetime broadcasts, making clutch catches in critical situations and energizing a franchise that has long sought the elusive combination of star power and consistent offensive production. Meanwhile, social media platforms have erupted with debates, memes, and speculation regarding how this acquisition will affect Washington Commander morale and strategy, with some former teammates reportedly expressing disbelief and a sense of personal loss at McLaurin's departure. NFL insiders are hinting that the trade discussions involved months of negotiation, subtle maneuvering behind closed doors, and strategic timing to ensure that McLaurin's move would create maximum impact, both from a team-building perspective and a media spectacle standpoint. As the rumor mill intensifies, the general sentiment within football circles is that McLaurin's transition to Dallas represents not only a career-defining opportunity for him, but also a potential turning point for a Cowboys roster eager to reassert itself as a dominant force in the league. Experts have started analyzing the statistical ramifications of McLaurin's hypothetical integration into the Cowboys' offense, projecting eye-popping metrics that suggest his presence could elevate passing, yardage totals, reception averages, and red zone efficiency in ways that few other acquisitions could realistically achieve. Advanced analytics indicate that McLaurin's speed, separation ability, and contested catch efficiency could directly complement the Cowboys' offensive line strengths, create new spacing for running backs, and provide quarterbacks with an expanded palette of options on every snap. Sports commentators are already theorizing about potential game-breaking alignments, including McLaurin in 3 wide receiver sets, slot-o field rotations, and jet sweeps, while simultaneously exploring how defensive coordinators across the league will need to adjust coverage strategies to account for his unique threat profile. Additionally, There is widespread speculation that McLaren's leadership qualities, work ethic and competitive drive could serve as a catalyst for elevating locker room culture, motivating younger players, and fostering an environment where accountability and performance standards reach new heights. While some skeptics caution that chemistry with existing Cowboy stars may require time to develop, and that the pressure of high expectations could be daunting, the overwhelming sentiment in sports circles is that McLaurin has the talent, temperament, and professional maturity to thrive immediately. Rumors of secret workouts, private meetings with coaches, and specialized training sessions have only fueled the sense of inevitability around his impact, suggesting that the franchise views this acquisition not merely as a short-term boost, but as a strategic cornerstone for seasons to come. Fans and pundits alike are watching closely, eagerly anticipating the first public indication of how this superstar move will manifest on the field. Another consideration is the interplay between different positions and contracts. While Bland secures the secondary, Smith would stabilize the offensive line, and other potential moves could address the defensive line or skill positions. Each contract isn't just an isolated decision. It's part of a larger puzzle where one piece impacts the value and flexibility of the others. By approaching negotiations methodically, the Cowboys maintain leverage, minimize risk, and ensure that each move contributes positively to overall roster health. Finally, the psychological impact of these decisions shouldn't be underestimated. Players watching the organization reward performance, maintain fairness, and manage contracts professionally are more likely to buy in fully. This leads to better team chemistry, higher morale, and ultimately stronger performance on the field. The Cowboys' methodical approach to Bland's extension and the potential moves to follow signals a culture of professionalism and respect. 1. Where talent is recognized, but the team's structure and goals come first. All of this sets the stage for an exciting season. With Bland in the secondary, Smith potentially anchoring the offensive line, and careful planning around other extensions, the Cowboys are positioning themselves to compete at a high level while maintaining roster flexibility. The combination of smart financial management, strategic planning, and cultural reinforcement makes this an organization to watch. As the season approaches, the focus will shift to execution on the field, but the foundation being laid off the field suggests that Dallas is ready to compete and sustain success for years to come. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The fan reaction has been nothing short of electric, with Cowboy supporters flooding online forums, social media feeds, and sports talk shows with a mix of elation, disbelief, and speculative fervor. Jerseys emblazoned with McLaurin's name are reportedly already in pre-order, signaling a commercial and cultural ripple effect that transcends standard team acquisitions. Conversations around bars, living rooms, and tailgate parties have centered on potential marquee moments, playoff implications, and the broader narrative of the Cowboys asserting their dominance in the NFC East, potentially overshadowing former Commander rivals who may have underestimated the impact of losing such a transformative player. Meanwhile, Washington fans have expressed a range of emotions from anger and disappointment to nostalgic tributes celebrating McLaurin's past heroics, highlighting the duality of sports fandom where admiration and heartbreak coexist. Analysts are also weighing in on the psychological dimension of the transfer. Considering how McLaurin's motivation to prove critics wrong, combined with Dallas' established infrastructure and championship aspirations, could catalyze performances that redefine season expectations. Behind the scenes, league insiders hint at continued negotiations and strategic maneuvers, suggesting that McLaurin's integration might include unprecedented perks, innovative training programs, and specialized roles designed to showcase his versatility and keep defenses perpetually off balance. Rumors have emerged about private film sessions, advanced sports science involvement, and collaborative game planning approaches that indicate the Cowboys are preparing to maximize McLaurin's influence across every facet of the offense. The combination of statistical potential, media attention, fan engagement, and locker room dynamics paints a vivid picture of a transformative acquisition, one that could echo for years as a defining moment in both McLaurin's career and the franchise's modern-era narrative. As the league braces for the upcoming season, the buzz surrounding McLaurin's move to the Cowboys has reached fever pitch, sparking intense debates about how this shift will recalibrate divisional hierarchies, influence draft strategies, and shape playoff projections. Commentators are speculating on potential clashes with former teammates, hypothetical matchups against elite quarterbacks, and scenarios where McLaurin's agility and game intelligence could swing pivotal contests in Dallas' favor. Rumors circulating from practice squads to executive suites suggest that this move was meticulously orchestrated, with timing, media leaks, and contract structuring all playing critical roles in crafting a narrative that maximizes attention and competitive advantage. Social media analysts have noted a spike in Cowboys' engagement metrics, merchandise sales, and fan-generated content, further underscoring the broader cultural and economic ramifications of acquiring a player of McLaurin's caliber. Meanwhile, tactical experts are exploring a wide range of offensive innovations, including hybrid formations, rapid tempo changes, and situational play adjustments, all designed to leverage McLaurin's skill set in ways that may redefine the league's understanding of wide receiver impact. Additionally, the psychological dimensions of the transfer, McLaurin's drive to excel in a new environment, his potential influence on team cohesion, and the challenge of meeting sky-high expectations are dominating discussions on sports shows and podcasts nationwide. Despite the rampant speculation, one thing is universally acknowledged: McLaurin's arrival in Dallas is more than just a player change. It is a seismic shift with the potential to alter the trajectory of an entire franchise, reshape fan narratives, and set the stage for a season filled with unprecedented drama, record-breaking performances, and unforgettable moments that will dominate headlines well beyond the first whistle of the next NFL season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next.